Let's solve some Pythagorean triples. So triple is just a right triangle that has all sides are integers. There's no partial like a fraction or a decimal. Okay, so let's look at the first one. The first thing that I like to do is write out Pythagorean theorem. It gives me a good starting point for what I want to do. Okay, so a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Well, that asks the question, what is a, b, and c? So let's figure that out. The first thing I like to do is figure out where my hypotenuse is, and that is across from your right angle, and that is 5. So 5 is going to be our c value. C is always the hypotenuse. And that leaves a and b. It does not matter which one you pick for a and which one you pick for b. So I'm going to pick 3 for b, and my unknown is a. So now I can go in and substitute these values. So a we still don't know yet. B is equal to 3, so that's 3 squared. And c is equal to 5, so that's 5 squared. Now let's solve each of these pieces. 3 squared is 9, and 5 squared is 25. And again, the goal here is to get a by itself. So we're going to subtract 9 from both sides. 25 minus 9 is 16. And then we've got a squared. And we're not done yet. We're almost there, but we need just a, not a squared. So we have to take the square root of both sides. And the square root of a squared is just a, and the square root of 16 is 4, because 4 times 4 is 16. So this is our answer. Now we know a is equal to 4. And you may recognize this one as a triple. It's up here, it's a 3, 4, 5 triangle. So if you were to memorize this one, then you just have to make sure that the hypotenuse is 5, and then one of the legs is 3 or 4. And then you know what the other leg is. Okay, and the more you do these, the more this is going to make sense. So keep working these problems. All right, here we've got an 8 and a 17 and an unknown. Again, first thing I do is write out this equation. And now we need to know what are a, b, and c. So again, I point to my hypotenuse from the right angle and label that as c. Hypotenuse is always c. And then I'm going to label this one as b and this one is a. And let's go ahead and plug these in. So a is 8, so that's 8 squared. B we don't know yet. And c is 17. So that'll be 17 squared there. 8 times 8 is 64, plus our b squared. And 17 squared, let me work that out real quick. 7 times 7 is 49. 1 times 7 is 7. That's 11. 1 times 7 is 7, and 1 times 1 is 1. 9, 8. So that's 289. All right, now, again, our goal is to get b by itself. So I'm going to subtract 64 from both sides. So 64 minus 64 goes to 0. And this is 9 minus 4 is 5. 8 minus 6 is 2. And that is a 2. So now I've got b squared is equal to 225. Again, I just want b, not b squared. So I'm going to take the square root of both sides, and I get b is equal to, and one thing to notice here is b is always going to be less than the hypotenuse, and so is a. Individually, they're less than the hypotenuse. So I know this is going to be less than 17. And I happen to know that it's 15, because 15 times 15 is 225. So there we go. B is equal to 15. And that again is a Pythagorean triple, because there are no decimals. All right. All right, let's look at one more. Again, I'm just going to write down the Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. If you don't know what to do, this is a great place to start. Just write it down, and then that kind of jogs your memory about what you need to do. The next thing I want to know is what's my hypotenuse, and that is always across from my right angle, so that's C, and then these are A and B, and I don't care which is which. Alright, so let's start plugging in. I've set up A to be 8, so it's going to be 8 squared plus B we don't know yet, and C is equal to 10, so that's 10 squared. 8 times 8 is 64, plus B squared is equal to 10 times 10 is 100. And I'm going to subtract 64 from both sides because I want to isolate my B to one side of the equation. So that goes to 0. And this goes to 6, 9, 36. So now I've got B squared is equal to 36. Again, I have to take the square root of both sides to get just a B. And that ends up as B is equal to 6, because the square root of 36 is just 6. All right, this Pythagorean triple we call a 6, 8, 10. And you are going to see this one a lot, and you're going to see this one a lot, 3, 4, 5. And this 6, 8, 10 is just the 3, 4, 5 times 2. So I'll show you right here. So 3 times 2 is 6, 4 times 2 is 8, and 5 times 2 is 10. So anyway, if you memorize those two, that's going to give you a leg up, if you will. All right, I hope this helps, and I will see you in the next one.